Hello, welcome to another issue slash episode slash websode internet thing of the Horror of Netflix. I'm joined with Alan. You may have seen Alan in previous things that we've done. You may have seen me in previous things that we've done. I've no idea what week this is going to show up because we're shooting loads at one time. We're trying to be productive recently, but the one
shouldn't give away all our secrets.
We shouldn't. We don't have very many, and none of them are worth it. But
I know where the bodies are.
We're also joined by Michael and Martin at the back here. We're going to substitute them later on like a magic trick. And they'll do some videos as well.
Should we just change over at half time?
Yeah, we should probably introduce the film.
Aye, that might be a plan.
The film in question is John Dies at the End, which sounds like a bit of a spoiler immediately
it does
for the
a
title.
bit, yeah.
But it's kind of not, because that's not really what happens, is it?
Well, I don't know, is it a spoiler to really debate that? Cause
what's the film? That's
yeah.
the review.
Yeah.
No. Anyway, basically, it's a very kind of strange film, I would say. It's made by Don Coscarelli, who made Bubba Hotep. Big fan of. Do you like Bubba Hotep?
I've still not seen that.
It's good.
And of course, Phantasm.
Really great movie. Of course, Phantasm. Shite. Look at Martin raging. He's raging his seething eyes.
Danger.
Anyway, so Bubba Hotep, brilliant kind of horror comedy, and I would say this has horror elements to it, but fundamentally it's a dark comedy.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, what did you make of the tone of it?
It's strange. I mean, there's
describe
points.
what it's about.
Yeah, let's do that. Good luck.
Yeah, I know, it's a very difficult one to kind of adequately describe in the space of a couple of sentences. It is about these. It's about these two guys who are kind of in business as I don't know, what would you call them, kind of paranormal troubleshooters,
monster hunter type things that are kind of jacked up in this sentient liquid drug called soy sauce that allows them to kind of see things from alternate dimensions and also have influence on that, and they also become somewhat prosthetic as well, not prosthetic, but prothetic. It's not Robocop, and essentially
prosthetics in the film.
There is some good prosthetics and things. Thank you, Martin. He's much taller than the camera, I have to look up. So essentially they can kind of do a bit of mind reading and stuff as well, which kind of helps them. I think that's quite a commonly used tool in the film for them to convince other people that they actually have got abilities from it. You know, like the first thing people do is read their minds, but essentially they kind of become monster hunters. Monster hunters for hire. But it's all to do really with the kind of, I don't want to get too much into it, but because it's spoilerific, but it's to do with kind of parallel worlds and their influence on their own, and just these kind of two guys that are ultimately out their depth but find themselves kind of embroiled in it, really. Yeah,
no, it's I mean, how did you come across it? I mean, because I had sort of vaguely...
Mom told me.
Right, because I was going to say, I had sort of vaguely heard of this one like years ago. I think it was probably when it was still, because it was like a novel or a web thing originally, and
I think it was a web series, and then they compiled it into a novel.
It's got that feeling about it. It does have, particularly the performance from the two guys. It's very aware of itself.
Yeah, no, that was something I was going to say, because I mean, I knew really virtually nothing about this one coming into it. I didn't know what it was about. You know, I knew the name. I was making a few assumptions about the plot based on the name. But I mean, coming into it, didn't know what it was about, didn't know what to expect, and I kind of got the feeling like it was almost an amateur film and maybe got a bit of money behind it. It's got that, like the way the main characters are kind of delivering the dialogue and the acting style. It's almost got a slightly kind of amateurish. It feels a little bit like the first thing you would write when you decide to go out and be a filmmaker would be something a little bit like this.
I think it actually was initially independently produced, and then a studio got behind it and that kind of took it there. But I remember when I saw this at the cinema, I wasn't really interested in it. I mean, the poster really put you off. It looks really sloppy and not in a kind of fun 80s B-movie way, just in a kind of a, almost like, you know, like a teenage comedy type, you know, setup. So I was immediately put off it, but that's the beauty of Netflix. It turns up on Netflix and you give it a try, and you know what, I enjoyed it. There's a lot of kind of almost like Lovecraftian elements to it, I would say.
Yeah, no, it's definitely got an overtone of that. Yeah, and I mean, I was surprised at how much I actually took to it as it went on, because I mean, as I kind of going into it at first, kind of didn't really know what to make of it, what was going on here. But I think it kind of as it goes on, it kind of opens up to you a little bit. I think the quality of the writing starts to come through more and more, and I really enjoyed it. You know, by the time it was getting towards the end, I was really quite into it. So
I think it's also interesting as well because in terms of how it's set up, and I've done that thing again where I've forgotten what I was talking about, so I'm going to talk about something else and transition round to it. There's actually almost a nod to Bubba Hotep in it. I know you haven't seen it, but
I'll just leave.
Martin, you've seen it, haven't you?
Yeah.
You've seen Bubba Hotep?
Yeah, I saw it.
See, in terms of how Paul Giamatti's character turns out to be at the end, would you say that's a nod to Bubba Hotep, the president character?
What, because it's the JFK, the whole
JFK
thing? I don't know, that's... Oh, you mean the whole... Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Watch them both! There you go, there's a wee bit of goodness for you there.
Maybe.
I've remembered what I was going to say now, so that was subtly done.
I can't actually talk about it because it would spoil both.
Because you're not in this video.
We're going to have to cut so much out of this anyway.
No, but Alan.
It's just
It's
going to be us
all
coming on and
gold.
saying,
It's
"Oh,
all gold. Some of it's platinum. Essentially, there's a couple of well-known faces in it, depending on your definition. Paul Giamatti and Clancy Brown, the Kurgan, and that bastard guard from Shawshank Redemption. I don't know if that's his full title.
Clancy Brown the Kurgan. Jeez, I didn't even realise. I'll just go.
That's a cultural icon in this
I
country.
know, I've disgraced myself. Yeah.
They're remaking it.
Alright.
What's it called? The guy that was Drax the Destroyer in Guardians of the Galaxy. Wasn't Dave Bautista? He's going to be the Kurgan now. Highlander's got horror elements to it.
So the horrors of Netflix.
Yes, back to
to go back.
Decapitations, that's all right.
Yeah, so I mean, there's also some quite grisly bits in it as well. I mean, it's very full on with the gore and.
I mean, so there's a lot of practical effects as well. I mean, there is a little bit of CG. I mean, the CG was not great, I would say. But
you see, that's the funny thing about it. I don't know if it was just a low budget, so the quality of the CG wasn't that good, or they were deliberately drawing attention to it. They're kind of doing this. We obviously can't do Jurassic Park and Lawnmower grade CGI. So essentially what we're going to do is we're going to, just make something stylistic from it. So they kind of stand out, but it's almost a little bit of fun because of that. But the practical effects are really good, and I think because it lulls you into this kind of dark comedy, not that there's not dark comedies without violence in them, but because it lures you into this kind of thing. It really it's quite thingy, all of a sudden someone's head gets fucking shot under
That's quite thingy.
It
is quite a it is quite often sort of changing about a lot. You do get kind of comedy and the more serious elements sitting alongside each other quite a lot.
But I mean, ultimately, what would you say? Would you recommend people watch it?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Thank God this review could have been
I was pleasantly surprised. I really liked it.
Yeah. This feels like a very strange job interview, doesn't it? Alan? We've got these
It's
two
kind of
guys.
like a sci-fi Fear and Loathing. Would you say?
That's an interesting comparison. Yeah.
Can you tag Martin in like a wrestling fan? Yeah, no, that's a bit.
It'll be like in a Capcom fighting game, where you bring someone in as an assist.
Yeah, just tag them in. But there's a very non-linear narrative to it as well. It starts off almost like towards the end of the story and kind of goes back.
Can be a little bit difficult to follow that.
But I think if you're open-minded and you're not going in looking for a pure horror experience, if you're looking for a bit of a laugh with some horror elements to it, it is worth the time doing it. Probably a solid 3.5 stars.
Yeah,
out of 5.
I don't even believe in numbers, man. I give it Schrodinger's cat out of house.
Bassoon. So there you go. Schrodinger's cat out of house. What, the TV show?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed that and made some sense of it. I like to think that I've kind of, and both you as well, have done some kind of homage to the film really and a kind of disjointed, non-linear review. We're going to probably edit the start to the end, and I hopefully you've enjoyed this. You watch it backwards like Memento.
There's going to be a scene of one of us describing this video to Paul Giamatti.
Yeah, do it that way. That's a scene in the film. Anyway, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. We'll be back next week with another recommendation on Netflix. Not that it'll hopefully take you a week to watch this one, but you can go back and watch our other ones, or we're going to keep this going regularly.
At least until we run out of films on Netflix.
Which is coming soon. It's coming real soon, guys.
Maybe we could start with Amazon Prime.
Yeah, fuck, I know, that's a bit obscure.
The horrors of Amazon Prime doesn't quite trip off the tongue, does it?
That's it. I know.
That sounds more like a sci-fi film.
It actually sounds quite good now I say it out loud. The horrors of Amazon Prime.
Bye.